welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay, I love being transparent with you, so before we get into this video with Shane Dawson, I have a little secret to tell you. It's why I'm wearing a hat today. Okay, for a little bit of context, I have pink eye right now. I have pink eye, I'm very Tana Mojo. That's the only way that I can really describe this to myself without having an absolute breakdown that I have pink eye. I'm very Tana Mojo of me, which is a horrible way to think. But basically, I was out with a couple of friends last night, and TMI, I am someone who is so scared to kiss people because every time I kiss someone, I get a really sore throat, and I always thought I got mono, but whenever speaking to my doctors, they were like, oh, this might be tonsillitis, like you might need to get your tonsils removed. And they literally said to me, they were like, next time it flares up, you know, come to us and we'll be able to get your tonsils removed, which is one of the surgeries that has always scared me my entire life. However, I was out last night, and let me tell you, I had the opportunity, more so than any other night out, to be able to do that with someone, right? I could list like 3 or 4 people, right? And each time I turned it down, because out of fear, because I didn't even want to get to the stage of like being like, oh, and I need to get them removed. So I was so cautious the entire night out. We were out for a good few hours. So I turned down all that, trying to like keep my body good, and I wake up today with pink eye. Like something I didn't even imagine I could get, and I don't know how I got it. Something is out to get me. Something is out to get me. So anyway, hi, welcome, that's why we're filming this. Eye's a little bit ugly, we'll deal with it. It has like ointment and stuff, but you know what? I'm here to talk. Okay, so I was scrolling on Twitter and I saw a tweet from Definitely, and it was talking about Shane Dawson, and Shane went on Ryland's podcast. Now, I saw this pop up on YouTube on the recommended tab, you know, the SIP podcast with Ryland. So Shane went on it for one of their like spooky episodes, spooky series, Halloween time. I mean, it makes sense with Shane because he's always done conspiracy theories, he's always done like horror things, and it just makes perfect sense for him to be on a spooky episode that they did, so they obviously like incorporated one so that he could come on it. Now, I think we are so far past the point of having to sit down and be like, oh, is this Shane coming back to YouTube? Is this Shane? Like, I'm already seeing, and you know what? Great, like all these like titles on YouTube, I've even done it. Shane coming back, is he? Whatever. Let's just, great, we're so far past that point. Shane is back, great for him. Whatever. He's the content creator. YouTube have, you know, allowed him to have his thing. The audience will be there. Like, we can just talk about it, right? And to the Shane fans, we can talk about it. We respect that you want to watch him a little bit, but you know, we're all here for a conversation. So, Shane's back on this episode, and the episode is quite long, and there are certain parts of it that were very interesting to talk about. Number 1, Shane talks briefly about how he feels that he's ruined the lives of everyone around him in reference to Ryland and Lizzie, the co-host. And then there was another part of it as well that I saw that Dennis had actually uploaded, and it was Shane comparing the Addison Rae movie. Is it He's All That or She's All That? One of the two, the remake that came out that has gotten absolutely awful reviews online. Basically, Shane was comparing a scene in that movie where Addison Rae has a bunch of like horse shit. He was comparing that to the past couple years of his life. So we are starting to see Shane, you know, open up a little bit more, even in jokes, about the past cancellation era of Shane, whatever you want to call it. And now I saw a lot of people in the comment section of the video of Ryland saying that they wonder if Shane's gonna come back now that it's, you know, the perfect time for his content. By that, I mean my previous point. You know, he can come back now with a conspiracy theory. I think it's the smartest thing for Shane to not come back and do anything like he did with Jeffrey or anything along those lines for a bit of time. I think the perfect response that an audience would give to a video is some OG Shane content, like the conspiracy things that did really well and focused on other things as opposed to his doings. And also even the videos with, albeit they'll probably not be in them now, but you know, Garrett, Andrew and Drew, where they went on, you know, the cruise ships and the scary things, you know what I mean? Those kind of hotel rooms that are, woo, spooky. That's the kind of content that consistently did well for Shane whenever we look back on the years, from whenever he did that in his first couple of years of YouTube, and then he started doing skits and stuff that were like not good whatsoever, and then in like 2016 to 2018 he was doing this horror stuff again, and people really ate it up. And again, the conspiracy stuff, he was a pioneer who did a great job at that on the platform. And so him reverting back to that with the spooky theme, is definitely interesting. However, before we get into this clip, I do just want to say, as a content creator on YouTube, it's important to note that Shane probably will not come back to YouTube until the peak ad time on YouTube, which basically means there are more desirable ad space on YouTube. Companies are paying YouTube more money to have their ads be on their videos. This is normally November to December time, Christmas time. Companies are loving getting sponsors and, you know, ads. So a YouTuber that uploads videos during that month will make more money than they do uploading it now or uploading it a couple months ago. So Shane will probably want to come back around that time and is probably planning on doing that because he will make most money, which will make up for the past year, if you get me. Okay, anyway, so the first clip we're gonna get to is gonna be the one about Addison Rae. So again, thank you Dennis for putting this up, and it is basically just to show you kind of how the podcast was going on before we get to the other clip of him saying he feels like he's ruined everyone's lives. And again, I do have to say, credit where credit is due. I did not think the sip would last as long as it did because it's not the most, it's not the most successful or interesting podcast in the world. However, the audience that are there for it are very diehard, and that's something that you want as a YouTuber, so I didn't think it was gonna last this long. However, it clearly has, so congratulations to them. So let's hear this clip first in relation to Addison Rae and him talking about the shit year, and then we'll get to the more TT one. But this is kind of show you how the foundation of the conversation was flowing with Shane when he has returned. Okay, let's get into it. So again, the SIP podcast, you can go watch it if you want. This is where this clip comes from, and the other clip comes from.
Our haircuts. I know, we look fabulous. And we were asking like what the trends are of the moment, and he said the curtain bang right now.
Yeah.
And you're guilty.
I'm glad to see Lizzie and Ryland's relationship is getting better.
Are you
because
jealous?
of Charlie D'Amelio.
And I only mean that because there was a lot of tension last time we covered this, if you remember on my channel. Tell me if you did. It means you're a diehard, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, I admitted that on air.
Oh, okay.
I said it.
I just want you to know that's what
I said
Colorado
I literally
girls
got
do,
curtain
too.
bangs because of Addison Rae, and I'm growing
She's
my
very
hair
pretty,
out.
isn't she?
Later.
Can we go through horse shit at each other?
Oh my god,
Speaking of Addison
please.
Rae.
What the fuck was
I
that?
think Addison Rae is like,
Whoa.
whoa.
I don't know where you're going with that, but she's a goddess.
No, Addison
I
Rae
wanna
is
get
great.
canceled.
I think she's very,
He just had to
very
order
charismatic.
canceled.
Welcome back.
Yep, that's what we're doing. I feel like that's why we haven't seen a lot of Shane recently, because of the comment that he just said under his breath, where he was allowing Ryland to make a joke about Addison Rae, and he just says, I'm not saying anything because I'm not getting cancelled. Very different approach than what we're seeing with Jeffree, right? Where Jeffree's just all on the line, all back again. Shane, obviously, is gonna have a more reserved point of view when he comes back to YouTube. Why is my keyboard like disconnecting and connecting and disconnecting? It's like the Shane voodoo. He's telling you, shut the fuck up.
Pretty.
Yeah,
No.
she's great.
And did you see Netflix picked her up for a multi-picture deal?
You know, I missed that alert. You know? Because I've been a little out of the loop.
Well, actually,
That
Lizzie
just
wrote that
happened,
down for
yeah.
me. And I will say good for her. You know, I just...
Well, she's bringing in the numbers. It doesn't necessarily, I'm not going to say anything nasty about Addison Rae, but she's bringing in the numbers and she's cute as hell.
Yeah.
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 And she's friends with the Kardashians.
Really hope that more than anything, it's like, I do feel like structurally the foundation of that film was a little bit fucked from the get.
Well, yeah, she was duped from just everything.
It, you know, starting off, when she threw that horse shit, I lost my mind. Like,
When she threw that horse shit, it reminded me of the last 2 years of my life. But you know, but she came out of that scene happy, covered in horse shit, but
And
happy.
in love.
That's how I feel.
Alright, so that's to kind of show you how the overall structure of the podcast was going. It was definitely a podcast in which it was Ryland and Lizzie featuring Shane. Now, what I mean by that, very clearly, Shane wasn't that heavy, you know, in terms of his words in the podcast. It was definitely something where he was like adding to conversations and was a bit more cautious of what he was saying. And I think the perfect example of that is him literally saying under his breath that he's not going to say something because he doesn't want to interpret it in a certain way. But it's definitely interesting that he's comparing it to the last 2 years of his life, because that does go back into 2019, which, to my understanding, I'm pretty sure 2019 was the best year of Shane Dawson's career, because that was the conspiracy palette, right? 2019 was probably the career high of Shane. So it's interesting that he's gripping it in with that. But then again, the year before that was the cat allegations and the PEDO allegations with the podcast. I mean, every year there's something. So, okay, now that we know how it went, this is Shane basically talking about how he feels he has impacted the lives around him. And it's interesting. And people have a lot to say about it.
You being a YouTuber or not, like, I hope so. I hope you get inspired to create, but you're gonna make movies and they're gonna be great, and I can't wait.
Oh, interesting on what he's saying there, because Shane did post on his social medias that he's waiting for inspiration to hit. Now, in the least shady way possible, I was like, you've been gone for a year and a half. If inspiration hasn't hit yet, it's not gonna just punch you now, you know what I mean? Like, you've had the but anyway, and that's coming from a creative person who studied in the creative field. And you can probably apply that to yourself if you've ever studied or worked in or been inspired yourself. You know what I mean? Sure, there's downs, but there's always ups. So that's them saying about Shane in reference to waiting for inspiration to hit to create content. Again, are we waiting for inspiration to hit, or are we waiting for peak ads in November, December? Who knows? And again, that's what most YouTubers do. So it's not like he's being this manipulative mastermind. It's what most YouTubers do. Most YouTubers literally upload Vlogmas every single day, a video, and they've never done that throughout the month, and then go silent in January. I need a break, January. That's just how it works. It's like the peaks and lows of ads on YouTube. Like, you work for the same amount of money for less money. It's messy, but it's how it works. And so again, Ryland is now hinting about the movie, and they do talk about the movie, and it does seem that Shane will be moving forward making movies. And I don't know if this is movies that will be uploaded on his YouTube channel, as in the same way that we're classing The Secret World of Jeffree Star was a movie, or him going actually theater movies, like his previous movies that he made back in like 2011 that went down a treat.
For it, and you know you're gonna do that.
Well, thank you. I'm proud of you guys, because I feel like, this is me being a dad for a second,
when Shane says that, great. But just whenever they've said on their channel before that, like, their, like, kink names for each other can be, like, calling each other daddy, just hearing stuff like that, just so often, like, I'm, like, gonna be a dad for a second. I'm like, no, don't say that, please, no.
I know it's been a rough, which is hard because I take a lot of, this is, like, such a dark place to go, but over the last couple of years, I feel like, and I've really tried to work through it, but it is hard not to feel like I've ruined everybody's lives around me because of my mistakes in the past. And that was definitely a feeling for a while. And it's like, I don't know, I just felt like you kind of got thrown through the mud.
But
like,
that's not...
Like, so I just want to say I'm so proud of you guys for doing it consistently and being loyal to the people that watch and not getting so obsessed with, I don't know, because I know how it is. And you guys are so, like, loyal to the people that are watching and not thinking about, I don't know. It's just very nice, and I'm proud of you guys. And I'm excited to see where the show goes, and I hope that...
All right. Now, first of all, I always have to be a little shady. It's my favorite thing that Shane said, they're so loyal to their audience and stuff. But remember the controversy not that long ago where Ryland was getting called out for being rude because his audience wanted more podcasts and were so excited that they were giving them more content? Who remembers that? Remember, like, Trisha went ham on Ethan, or not Ethan, on Ryland, but then Trisha did the same thing about the Q&A on Frenemies. However, Ryland got a lot of criticism because the fans were excited that they were giving them more podcasts, and Ryland called basically them unappreciative. So, I mean, that's funny when you put it into context with what Shane has said. However, in terms of podcasts, a lot of YouTubers have created podcasts and they've burned out really quickly. So if anything, that point about them staying consistent for their audience, even though there were things along the way, is true. In terms of him saying that he feels he's ruined everyone's life, I mean, it's his own actions. It's his own actions that still haven't properly been addressed. A lot of things that will never be addressed, and I mean, I don't know how we're supposed to respond to that. I don't know if that's something that's meant to guilt trip us, guilt trip Ryland, guilt trip him. I don't know how we are supposed to react to that because we didn't do any of that. We just kind of watched it unfold. So I want to know what your opinion is of that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like, you feel like you've ruined everyone's lives because of all the, like, disgusting content and, like, disgusting jokes and inappropriate, like, all right, I'll leave that up to you to decide, I guess. I don't know, but I want to know your opinion of it. So we'll talk about it below. Thank you so much for watching this video. And again, do you think Shane will come back during spooky season? Because it's very heavily upon us right now. He might. I still think he's going to come back during peak ads. However, to be fair, like that can apply with like October period as well. I mean, either or. I just want to know what your opinion is. And we'll talk about it below. I appreciate you watching. I hope you're having a great day. I need to go put some more pink eye ointment in. I love you. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay well. Drink some water, please. Drink some green tea. We all need it during these trying times where we need to replenish our body. Okay, bye. Mwah.